Shalom. Kol Holo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. My name's Barad Debal, coming to you from the GMS camp of Indianapolis. And to all those listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. Especially to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Today is just another installment for let the Most High be true and every man a liar. Let's start with Romans chapter 3, verse 3. Hopefully this is edifying, uplifting, and exhorting to the elect body of true believers. This is the book of Romans chapter 3, verse 3. It says, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?" Next verse. Verse 4 says, God forbid, which is his true name, or power forbid, Yahweh forbid. Yea, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings, and mayest overcome when thou art judged. And what are the sayings? That Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is sending his son, and there is a visitation that's happening upon the earth. So that is one of the sayings. Let's start with the book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 6. It says, "Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts," like Yahweh and his armies, right? "With thunder, and with earthquake, and with great noise, and with storm and tempest, and with flames of devouring fire." This is happening as we speak. Okay, you have thunders, as you're going to see in the video. Fair use. I like to practically every day. This is what watchmen are supposed to do. But as much as I can get the daily news, I like the one with David Muir. I'll watch, the first 3 minutes of the show and kind of get a gist of what's going on. And outside of that, I'll probably end up watching the whole. I'll probably watch the whole 20 minutes. So, but in any case, he's going to explain, this particular episode or series of events. It's going to show the thunder. We know about the earthquakes with Venezuela. And of course, not just Venezuela, but you had Japan and many other places that have been hit with earthquakes. Yahweh Shai had made mention in Matthew chapter 24 that there would be earthquakes in diverse places. And you can actually look that up and see that there's been tremors and earthquakes that have been hitting this America and even all over the earth at a large scale, much larger than in past time. And then you have great noise, all right, which, eventually, you're going to have these missiles that's going to be shot over in the Americas. But then also you actually have a lot of fighting in the East, as we know, of Iran and Ukraine and Russia, Israel, Gaza, just to name, some of the fighting with storm. And we have been crazy storms, floods, and heat waves because it says storm and tempest. You have floods, you've had tornadoes, you have, and then it says flames of devouring fire. And you've had fires that are actually, it's been hitting Utah. I don't even think they're going to speak on it, but it's been constant fires that's been going on. And so this is just to show that the Lord is surely enough, he is visiting this place as he said he would. So again, this is one of the series of Let the Most High Word Be True. And so let's look up this tempest really quick. And then because when he said there were going to be thunders, they actually had to stop, the fireworks because of the rain. It had major rains, and it had some thunders, a lot of lightning and thunderstorms that was actually happening. But let's see what tempest. All right. It is a violent storm, a tumult. All right. So let's get this video. I'll get a few more scriptures and we'll end it from there. Again, fair use. This is just for educational purposes to show again that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is not playing. Here we go.
David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, severe storms and the dangerous flash flood threat as millions head home from the historic holiday weekend. More than 40 million Americans on alert for flash flooding from Ohio into the Northeast, including Philadelphia and New York City. This after record-breaking temperatures baked much of the country. At least 25 heat-related deaths in New Jersey alone. Washington, D.C. with its hottest 4th of July on record. Fireworks on the mall delayed by lightning strikes. We have team coverage tonight. The deadly and dangerous rip currents as millions head to the beach. At least 2 people killed in Florida and more than 300 rescues. Fireworks mishaps, an explosion in Southern California, leaving 1 person dead and several others injured. This fiery scene on New York's Brooklyn Bridge and what pilots reported on a Delta flight. President Trump's address on the National Mall celebrating the country's 250th anniversary. What he said about communism and the state of this country. The coast-to-coast celebrations come amid disturbing images. Hundreds of masked white nationalists marching in Washington, D.C.
Oh, and that's sedition, bringing, covering their faces, white nationalists. That's going into, causing an uproar, provoking people to want to be angry. Okay. And so you see these white nationalists, this so-called white man is always in the mix, trying to provoke and get things going. But yet they will point to the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American man, mainly the head tribe of Judah, the so-called African American man, as being the criminals, the men, the ones who were provoking, right? But check it.
A small seaplane crashes into New York's East River. First responders rushing to the scene. What we're learning tonight. Another brazen art heist in France. Thieves grabbing jewels worth millions from a private museum. A stunning upset at Wimbledon, Naomi Osaka defeating Aryna Sabalenka, and the Americans dominating on the court today. The sights and sounds as fireworks light up the skies across America, celebrating the nation's 250th birthday.
250 years, and actually, in actuality, we shall see, because Psalms 49 and 11 said their inward thought is that the houses shall continue forever. They call the lands after their own names, roughly paraphrasing. But again, 49 and 11, they have the thought that they are going to continue more years. But it's already been written that the average kingdom goes strong for 250 years. And so their time is up. They're at the end. There's a bounds in which they cannot pass. That's also in Job. And the Lord has set that bounds. And so they have been very proud, triumphing about the 200 years of rape, robbery, and murder. As John 10:10 been bringing this out a lot. The thief cometh not but for to steal, for to kill, and to destroy. But Yahweh Shai, when he returns, he's going to bring life and bring it more abundantly. But before he does that, bring that return, his return, Yahweh send his son, before Yahweh sends his son, there's going to be a lot of changing that's going to happen. So let's get this here. This is the book of, we'll end with that one. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 39, verse 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And so you have, again, these flames of devouring fire. You know, these again, you have the heavenly hosts, the angels, who are sent forth to do the bidding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And they are not going to transgress his word. Let's get to the next verse. It says, fire, and you've seen it all through this video. Hell. Hey, they actually said in some places that where it was hot or supposed to be hot, they seen ice. It was one particular place, and I actually forget it. Forgive me for that. But it says famine. Now, we're actually going to have a famine of the word, but eventually, you know, there's going to be a famine of bread. And right now they've been speaking of water, because these data centers are using a lot of water. And with the use of the water, there's been a lot of, I guess, let's just say some form of metals or something within the water that's not going to be allowed for people to actually drink it with a good conscience. Let's say that. Death. And you've seen it was like 25 people alone just in New Jersey. So that's not even speaking of all the other states that are affected. And then we're not even talking about Europe, where I just seen a video where they were just talking about 3,000 deaths so far. And possibly more to come. All these were created for vengeance. See, the Lord, he's bound by his word. He's going to make good on everything in which he said was going to happen. And these things are for the wicked, because eventually he's doing this, and he's going to bring out the righteous, you know, from all the places in which the elect have been scattered. It says, teeth of wild beast. We've been seeing shark attacks. There's been shark attacks. You've also had, actually, let me jump back. You know, they were talking about drownings in Europe. I think France maybe was one of the places. They said it was like 48 people who have drowned so far because they're so hot and they're jumping into the water. Right? But then you have teeth of wild beast. You have, just last week, you had 3 people within the span of a week, you know, that were, they never say mauled, but were, had alligator attacks and died. Scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Let's get the next verse. They shall rejoice in his commandment. These are the spirits, okay? When the Lord calls, right? And he has the angels again, you know, doing his bidding. It says, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. So that's what we've seen happening. And this is the time, the last days. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. See? We're going to stop there. Let's get this next verse, or next chapter and verse. This is the book of, Yep, I got this. This is it right here. This is the book of Sirach. Second Esdras chapter 8, verse 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they walk in great pride, and even still they're in the greatest of their pride." 250 years of American greatness, where on the other side of that coin, we see that they have stolen the land, the people in which they stole it from. They stole people, and they have utterly destroyed the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for this great land of they call America, which is actually a cesspool of wickedness. Because when you look around, you see this whole earth is an Epstein file. We'll just say that. We'll leave it there, but this is just another lesson of the Most High word be true, and every man a liar. So I hope that this lesson was edifying, uplifting, exhorting to some sort to the elect body of true believers. Before I end, I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rahahakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the globe. Until next time, all those listening and learning to you, I say, Shalom.